My family gave my brother a $250K house, me a $2 ticket I won 134 Ns and exposed them. They squandered $250K on my brother, betraying me with a $2 scam. Will my 100 fighting triumph crush their greed? Hi, I'm Lily Harper. My family lavished $250,000 on my brother's dreams, tossing me a $2 lottery ticket as a cruel betrayal, a scam that shattered my heart and fueled my rise. With a $134 million jackpot, I exposed their greed, forging a life of triumph they never saw coming. Will my 134 triumph crush their greed? The autumn evenings in Cincinnati, Ohio, weave through the quiet suburbs with a crisp, golden chill, the scent of fallen leaves and distant bonfires crafting a deceptive warmth that promises family and belonging, but often cloaks the sting of neglect and favoritism. I stood in the cramped dining room of my parents' modest two-story home, the faded floral wallpaper and scuffed oak table a familiar backdrop to the countless moments I'd been pushed to the margins, clutching a plain white envelope they'd handed me at my college graduation, my heart clinging to a fragile hope that it might hold a small check to ease the crushing $30,000 student loan debt that loomed over my future like a storm cloud. Instead, I found a $2 scratch-off lottery ticket, its cheap, glossy surface glinting mockingly under the dim light of a single bulb, a stark symbol of their indifference compared to the $250,000 they'd poured into my older brother, Ethan, for a starter home, a new car, and a fully funded education. The air was heavy with the greasy aroma of takeout burgers and fries, the silence between us thicker than the humid Ohio night, a quiet verdict that I was never truly part of their family, only a shadow in Ethan's golden light, a realization that would propel me to leave their world behind and forge a path of my own, one that would lead to a staggering triumph they could never have imagined, a journey that would redefine my life in ways that would leave them reeling. I'm a 25-year-old marketing assistant at a small ad agency in Cincinnati, my days consumed by crafting billboard campaigns, analyzing consumer trends, and navigating the relentless demands of a job that pays a modest $35,000 a year, barely enough to cover rent, groceries, and the monthly $200 payments on my $30,000 student loans, a debt that hangs over me like a constant threat, a reminder of the independence I was forced to carve out alone. To my family, I'm the overlooked daughter, perpetually eclipsed by Ethan, 3 years my senior and the shining star in their eyes, their pride and joy who could do no wrong, whose every step was celebrated as a victory. Growing up in our middle-class neighborhood, with its tidy lawns, annual block parties, and the hum of cicadas in the summer heat, I was the quiet, diligent one, staying up late to study for exams, taking on extra chores like scrubbing dishes or raking the backyard, and saving every penny from babysitting to buy school supplies, while Ethan was feted for his charm, his high school football victories, his effortless charisma that seemed to justify every sacrifice they made for him. Family gatherings, Thanksgiving dinners crowded with relatives swapping stories over pumpkin pie, summer barbecues where neighbors admired the new patio furniture, cozy Christmas mornings around a twinkling tree were showcases for Ethan's achievements, his trophies displayed prominently on the mantle, his college acceptance letter pinned to the fridge like a badge of honor, while my straight-A report cards, my scholarship to a state university, or the $500 I'd saved from a summer job were met with vague nods or dismissive remarks like, "Lily's practical. She'll figure it out." My parents, Robert and Susan, never asked about the nights I spent shivering in a drafty dorm room, the panic of stretching my $35,000 salary to cover rent and loans, or the bone-deep exhaustion of balancing school with late-night diner shifts, their focus locked on Ethan's bright future, his $250,000 in gifts, a $100,000 starter home in the northern suburbs with a wraparound porch, $100,000 for his tuition to a private college, $50,000 for a sleek new Ford that gleamed in the driveway while I scraped by. My efforts unseen, my role relegated to the edges of their affection, a secondary figure in their narrative of Ethan's greatness. From as early as I can remember, I'd learned the painful truth that love in our family was a scarce resource, distributed unevenly, with Ethan claiming the lion's share and me left to gather the crumbs. A lesson etched into my heart at 7, when I sat quietly on Christmas morning, watching Ethan tear open the biggest box under the tree, his face lighting up at the sight of a $300 gaming console, Mom pulling out her phone to capture his joy, Dad beaming with pride as if the gift were a shared triumph, while I clutched a $3.99 clearance t-shirt, its oversized frame emblazoned with a plumbing company logo, the price tag still attached, a thoughtless hand-me-down that felt like a slap. "Be content, Lily," Mom said, her smile dismissive. "Ethan's older. He needs more important things." As I forced a smile, blinking back tears, retreating to a corner to watch the console's glow illuminate Ethan's thrilled expression. My t-shirt a reminder to expect less, to settle for scraps. My diary noting $3.99 shirt, $300 for him. I'm not enough. The pattern persisted, each milestone a stark contrast in their treatment. Ethan's 16th birthday was a spectacle, a $30 Thousander Ford parked in the driveway with a giant red bow, a lakeside park rented for a party with a live band, the neighborhood cheering as he took his first drive, while my 16th was a quiet affair. 2 friends invited for frozen pizza under the weak yellow light of our living room, my gift a $5 notebook and a ballpoint pen, the kind handed out at job fairs. Dad's words, "You don't need fancy," Lily cutting deeper than the cheap paper, my diary noting $5 a dollar notebook, $30K for him. I'm invisible. The disparity grew more pronounced as we entered adulthood, their favoritism solidifying in ways that left no room for hope. When Ethan went to college, they covered his $100,000 tuition in full, wiring him $2,000 monthly for expenses, ensuring he lived comfortably with new clothes, a nice apartment, and weekend trips, while I received a stack of student loan applications and a stern lecture from Dad about growing up and being independent. My diary noting $30,000 debt, $0 from them. They don't care. I worked night shifts at a diner, pouring coffee and clearing tables until 1 a.m. My $10 hourly wage barely covering the $600 rent for a cramped dorm room and $100 for groceries, my exhaustion a secret I kept to myself. Their calls never asking about my struggles, only Ethan's latest triumphs in internship, a new girlfriend, a Florida vacation they partially funded, my diary noting $2,000 month for him, 10 hour for me. I'm on my own. I told myself that if I worked harder, proved myself, they'd see me, that my sacrifices $200 for loans, $50 for utilities, $20 for patched sneakers would earn me a place in their hearts, a seat at their table equal to Ethan's. But that hope was a fragile thread, fraying with each missed birthday, each forgotten milestone, each moment they chose him over me. The final blow came at my college graduation, a milestone I'd fought for through sleepless nights, endless shifts, and the crushing weight of $30,000 in loans, expecting some acknowledgement, perhaps a small gesture to ease the financial burden that defined my early 20s. Instead, I walked into the dining room to find only my parents. No relatives, no celebration, just a takeout box of greasy burgers and a plain white envelope they handed me with a casual, almost playful smile, my heart clinging to a desperate hope that it might hold a check, a token of support for the daughter who'd clawed her way through college alone. I opened it, my fingers trembling with anticipation, and found a $2 scratch-off lottery ticket, its glossy surface catching the dim light of the single bulb overhead, Mom's cheerful voice slicing through the silence. "Maybe you'll hit it big." Lily. Dad's shrug was matter-of-fact, his words a blunt dismissal. All our money went into Ethan's house. The words landed like a physical blow. Their $250,000 favoritism laid bare $100,000 for Ethan's suburban home, freshly painted with a manicured lawn, $100,000 for his tuition, $50,000 for his car while I was handed a $2 ticket. A cruel joke, a confirmation that I was worth nothing to them, an afterthought in their eyes. My diary noting $2 ticket, $250K for Ethan. I'm not their daughter. I forced a smile, the kind I'd honed over years of swallowing disappointment, folding the ticket into the pocket of my $20 thrift store coat, my voice steady despite the ache that threatened to crack my composure. Thanks, I guess. Inside, I wasn't angry, but empty, a hollowed-out shell where hope had once flickered, my heart a barren landscape where their love should have been, my diary capturing the moment in a single, stark line, scrawled with a trembling hand, $2 ticket, $250K for him. I'm done hoping. Their faces showed no guilt, no hesitation, just a casual acceptance of the disparity, as if my struggle, my $30,000 debt, my years of scraping by on $45,000 from 2 jobs, $35,000 from the agency, $10,000 from the diner were inconsequential compared to Ethan's $100,000 home, his $50,000 car, his $100,000 education, gifts they'd given without a second thought, without ever asking if I had enough to eat, if I was okay, if I was drowning under the weight of their neglect. The dining room felt suffocating, the walls pressing in, the takeout's greasy scent turning my stomach, the silence a verdict I was a footnote in their story, valued at $2 while Ethan was worth $250,000 at my diary noting $30,000 debt, $2 ticket. I'm worth more. That night, I packed my life into a chipped red suitcase, faded clothes bought for $10 at thrift stores, a battered laptop that cost $200 secondhand, a few dog-eared books I'd scavenged for $5, the essentials of a life built on grit and resilience, and left the house that had never felt like home. The house where Ethan's triumphs were framed on the walls, where my presence was tolerated but never celebrated. My diary noting $0 for leaving, $30,000 debt. I'm free. I drove to downtown Cincinnati, renting a tiny studio apartment for $600 a month. Its stained off-white walls, leaky pipes that dripped into a bucket, and noisy neighbors arguing through paper-thin walls a stark contrast to Ethan's pristine $100,000 home, but a space where I could breathe, where no one compared me to Ethan, where no one handed me a $2 ticket as a substitute for love. My diary noting $600 rent, $30,000 debt. This is my start. The city's orange streetlights filtered through the cracked window, casting a harsh glow over the creaky bed and wobbly desk. But it was mine, a refuge where I could rebuild, where I could silence the echo of Mom's Ethan needs more, where I could begin to believe I was worth more than their $250,000 betrayal, more than a $2 chance. My diary noting $45,000 income, $2 ticket. I'll make my own way. I found work as a marketing assistant by day, crunching numbers and drafting ads for $35,000 a year, and took night shifts at a bakery, serving pastries and scrubbing counters for $10 an hour. The combined $45,000 income barely covering my $600 rent, $200 loan payments, $100 for groceries, and $50 for utilities. My diary noting $200 for loans, $20 for shoes. I'm surviving. My hands reeked of flour and fryer grease. My feet ached from standing, but I felt lighter, unburdened by their expectations. My diary, a quiet testament 10-hour. No one belittles me here. My family's absence was a wound, their group chat buzzing with Ethan's $100,000 home upgrades, his $50,000 car maintenance. Mom's Ethan deserves it all. While my texts went unanswered, my diary noting $250K for him, $2 for me. I'm nothing to them. The $2 ticket lay in a drawer, buried under coins and an overdue $150 electric bill, a bitter reminder of their view. My worth a fleeting chance. Not the $250,000 they'd invested in Ethan. My diary noting $2 ticket. It's all they gave me. I told myself I was used to their neglect, that I didn't need their approval, that my $45,000 grind, $35,000 from the agency, $10,000 from the bakery was enough to prove my worth. But the pain lingered, a quiet ache that surfaced in the still hours. Mom's Ethan needs more a splinter I couldn't remove. My diary, a desperate plea, $600 rent, $30,000 debt. I'm still fighting. I worked. I survived. I pushed forward, believing that effort would carve my place, unaware that the $2 ticket, forgotten in that drawer, held a $134 million secret, a windfall that would upend their $250,000 betrayal and affirm my worth in ways I'd never imagined, a truth that would burn brighter than their neglect, setting the stage for a life I'd build on my own terms, a life where I was Lily Harper, no longer their overlooked daughter, but a woman ready to rise. The $250,000 my family poured into my brother Ethan's dreams, his home, car, and education while tossing me a $2 lottery ticket as a graduation gift was a betrayal that cut to my core, a wound that drove me to carve out a life beyond their neglect. Even as the grind of survival tested every ounce of my resilience, in my tiny Cincinnati studio apartment, the autumn evening was oppressive, the city's orange streetlights casting a dim, flickering glow through the single, cracked window, illuminating the stained off-white walls, the creaky floorboards that groaned with every step, and the sagging bed that barely fit the narrow, claustrophobic space. The air was thick with the bitter scent of instant coffee brewed on a buzzing electric stove, its faint hum mingling with the distant arguments filtering through the paper-thin walls from the neighbors next door. A constant reminder of the $600 monthly rent that stretched my meager resources to their breaking point. My diary lay open on the wobbly desk, its pages a raw, unfiltered chronicle of my departure from the family home, the graduation dinner where I'd hoped for relief from my $30,000 student loan debt, the $2 ticket's mocking presence, Ethan's $250,000 in gifts, a ledger of my fight to survive on my own terms, urging me to reflect on the years I'd been relegated to the margins of their affection, working 2 jobs to escape the shadow of their favoritism. The memory of Mom's flippant, maybe you'll hit it big, and Dad's dismissive. All our money went to Ethan's house burned like a fresh wound, a stark reminder of the $250,000 they'd invested in Ethan's future while I scraped by, a painful clarity that crystallized in the cold, lonely silence of my new life, a silence that both wounded and empowered me, setting the stage for an unexpected discovery that would upend everything I'd known and redefine my place in a world that had undervalued me. Life in this Cincinnati studio was a relentless grind, the $30,000 student loan debt a looming specter that haunted every decision, every paycheck, every sleepless night, its monthly $200 payments a constant drain on my $7,000 combined income, $35,000 from my marketing assistant job at a small ad agency, $10,000 from night shifts at a downtown bakery. By day, I hunched over spreadsheets, crafting billboard campaigns and fielding client demands, the $35,000 salary barely covering the $600 rent for this cramped, drafty space, $100 for groceries that consisted mostly of ramen and day-old bread, and $50 for utilities that flickered when the wind blew too hard. My diary noting $200 for loans, $50 for food. I'm making it barely. By night, I worked at the bakery, serving pastries to late-night customers, wiping down sticky tables, and hauling trash bags to the alley until nearly midnight. The tender hourly wage, a crucial lifeline to keep the lights on and avoid defaulting on my loans. My diary noting $200 from bakery, feet throbbing. I'm free, though. The studio itself was a far cry from Ethan's $100,000 suburban home, with its manicured lawn and wraparound porch, its leaky pipes dripping into a bucket when the temperature dropped, its noisy neighbors arguing through the walls, the constant hum of car horns outside a stark contrast to the pristine quiet of Ethan's neighborhood. My diary noting $600 rent, leaky pipes. It's mine, not theirs. I furnished it with thrift store finds, a $50 bed that creaked with every movement, a $20 desk that wobbled under my laptop, a $10 electric stove that buzzed ominously, but each item was a testament to my independence, a refusal to be defined by their $250,000 neglect, a declaration that I was worth more than the $2 ticket they'd handed me. My diary, a quiet vow, $30,000 debt, $45,000 income. I'm building something real. My family's absence was a wound that refused to heal. Their silence a confirmation of the $250,000 disparity, $100,000 for Ethan's starter home, freshly painted and furnished, $100,000 for his tuition to a private college, $50,000 for a sleek Ford that purred in his driveway while I was left to fend for myself. My $30,000 debt a burden they never acknowledged. Their $2 ticket a cruel jest that underscored my place in their hierarchy. My diary noting $250K for him, $2 for me. I'm erased. In the family group chat, where I remained a reluctant member, their messages revolved around Ethan's triumphs, Mom posting photos of his $100,000 home's new patio, Dad sharing videos of Ethan and his girlfriend Haley vacationing in Florida, funded partly by their generosity, with captions like, "Ethan deserves it all." My diary noting $250K for him, $0 for me. They don't see me. My occasional texts, "How's everyone doing?" or "just checking in" were met with half-hearted emojis, a thumbs up or a smiley face. No real engagement, no questions about my life, my $600 rent struggles, the $200 I sent to my loans each month, or the $20 I spent on patched sneakers to avoid a $50 replacement. My diary noting they don't care. I'm invisible to them. I wondered, in the quiet hours, if I vanished, would they even notice? Would they mourn the daughter they'd valued at $2 while pouring $250,000 into Ethan's future? My diary noting $30,000 debt, $2 ticket. Am I nothing? The $2 lottery ticket, still unscratched, lay buried in a drawer beside loose coins, a dried-out pen, and an overdue $150 electric bill, its presence a bitter reminder of their view. My worth a fleeting, improbable chance, not the $250,000 investment they'd made in Ethan, not the $100,000 home with its wraparound porch, the $100,000 tuition for his business degree, the $50,000 car that gleamed in his driveway, my diary noting $2 ticket. It's all I was to them. I'd pass the drawer nightly, my fingers brushing its wrinkled edge, Mom's voice echoing. Ethan needs more a splinter lodged deep in my psyche, a wound I couldn't extract, my diary noting $600 rent, $30,000 of debt. I'm still here. I told myself I was accustomed to their neglect, that I didn't need their approval, that my $45,000 combined income, $35,000 from the agency, $10,000 from the bakery was enough to prove my worth, but the pain lingered, a quiet ache that surfaced in the stillest hours, a doubt that whispered I'd never be enough. My diary, a desperate plea, $200 for loans, $50 for utilities. I'm fighting for me. My days were a blur of exhaustion, the marketing job demanding precision under tight deadlines, the bakery shifts leaving my hands reeking of flour and fryer grease, my feet throbbing from standing, my diary noting $100 for groceries, $20 for gas. I'm holding on. I ate instant noodles for weeks to save for the $200 loan payment, wore the same $20 thrift store coat through the chilly Cincinnati autumn, patched my $10 sneakers with duct tape to avoid a $50 replacement, my diary noting $20 for utilities, $10 for shoes. I'm surviving. The studio's leaky pipes and noisy neighbors were a daily challenge, the $600 rent a stretch, but I refused to return to the family home, to the $250,000 world where Ethan was king and I was a $2 afterthought, my diary noting $600 rent, $30,000 debt. Better than their pity. I pushed forward, believing that effort would carve my place, that my $45,000 grind would silence their Ethan needs more, unaware that the $2 ticket, ignored in that drawer, held a $134 million secret, a windfall that would upend their $250,000 betrayal and affirm my worth in ways I'd never imagined. One Friday evening, a coworkers' party at a cozy downtown loft offered a rare escape from the grind. The chatter over desserts a brief respite from my $600 rent worries and $30,000 debt anxiety. Marissa, a bubbly designer from the creative team, struck up a conversation, her warmth disarming as we talked about work. Her question, "Why don't you ever mention your family?" catching me off guard, piercing the armor I'd built around my pain. I hesitated, the words raw as they spilled out. They never saw me as part of it, not compared to my brother. Marissa didn't pry, her nod a quiet understanding, her empathy a crack in the wall I'd erected, my diary noting $0 for her kindness. Someone saw me. That moment, fleeting but profound, stirred something within me, a spark of defiance against the $250,000 neglect, the $2 ticket's dismissal, my diary noting $30,000 debt, $2 ticket. I'm worth more. That night, back in the studio, the city's hum a distant pulse, I opened the drawer, pulling out the $2 ticket, its silver coating untouched, my heart steady as I sat at the desk, the orange streetlight casting a harsh glow over the wrinkled paper. Moms. Maybe you'll hit it big, echoed, not as a jest but a challenge, my fingers trembling as I opened the Ohio Lottery website on my battered laptop, my diary noting $2 ticket, $250K betrayal. I'm checking it. I didn't expect wealth, didn't dream of millions. I wanted to silence the voice that said I was worth only $2 to prove I was more than their $250,000 of favoritism, $100,000 for Ethan's house, $100,000 for his tuition, $50,000 for his car, more than the $30,000 debt they'd left me to carry alone. The numbers on the screen loomed, a moment of truth that would redefine my life, my diary noting 134 or nothing. I'm ready. Cincinnati's autumn night was still, the city holding its breath, my resolve a quiet fire, their $250,000 betrayal a wound I'd turn into strength. A single scratch poised to unveil a $134 million future that would shatter their narrative and affirm my place in a world they'd never valued, a world I'd claim as Lily Harper, not their overlooked daughter, but a woman ready to rise. The $2 lottery ticket, a cruel jest from a family that poured $250,000 into my brother Ethan's dreams, became my salvation when it unveiled a $134 million jackpot, a windfall that liberated me from their neglect and set me on a path to redefine my worth with quiet, deliberate power. In my new 2-story farmhouse in Edgewood, a serene suburb of Cincinnati, Ohio, the autumn morning was radiant, the sunlight pouring through tall, arched windows, casting a golden glow across the polished hardwood floors, illuminating the open kitchen with its granite island, the lavender pots blooming vibrantly on the sill, and the tall bookshelves filled with novels and my own children's stories, a testament to the life I'd crafted from the ashes of their betrayal. The air was fragrant with the rich aroma of freshly brewed Guatemalan coffee, a daily ritual that grounded me in the calm of my $85 million fortune after taxes, a fortune that stood in defiant contrast to their $250,000 favoritism. My diary lay open on the kitchen counter, its pages a powerful chronicle of struggle and triumph, the graduation dinner where I'd hoped for relief from my $30,000 student loan debt, the $2 tickets mocking presents, the staggering moment I discovered the $134 million win urging me to embrace the freedom I'd earned, to live unbound by the family that had valued me so little, a family whose greed would soon resurface. The memory of Mom's flippant, "Maybe you'll hit it big," and Dad's dismissive. All our money went to Ethan's house lingered like a fading scar, but the $134 million jackpot was a blazing affirmation of my worth, a beacon that illuminated my path forward, setting the stage for a confrontation that would expose their true motives and solidify my resolve to live on my own terms, a resolve that would reshape my life into one of purpose and unshakable self-belief. The discovery of the $134 million win came in a moment of quiet defiance, sparked by a coworker's party where Marissa's empathy had cracked open a buried hope, prompting me to confront the $2 ticket I'd ignored for months in my Cincinnati studio. That Friday night, as the city's orange streetlights cast a harsh glow through the cracked window, I sat at my wobbly desk, the hum of car horns and distant arguments a familiar backdrop to the $600 rent and $30,000 debt that defined my life. My heart pounding not with dreams of wealth, but with a need to silence the voice that echoed my family's $250,000 neglect, $100,000 for Ethan's suburban home with its manicured lawn, $100,000 for his tuition to a private college, $50,000 for the sleek Ford that purred in his driveway while I'd been handed a $2 chance, a cruel dismissal of my worth, my diary noting $2 ticket, $250K betrayal. I'm done settling. I opened the Ohio Lottery website on my battered laptop, my fingers trembling as I scratched off the silver coating, revealing the numbers 8, 14, 27, 33, 42, 56 that matched the jackpot, my breath catching as the screen flashed. Congratulations, you've won $134 million. My diary captured the moment, the ink shaky but resolute 134M from $2. I'm not worthless. Shock gave way to caution. The $134 million a secret too vast to share, especially with a family that had invested $250,000 in Ethan, $100,000 for his house, $100,000 for his education, $50,000 for his car, while leaving me to struggle with $30,000 in loans. Their $2 ticket a testament to their greed, a greed I knew would resurface if they learned of my fortune. I didn't call anyone, didn't scream or jump like lottery winners on TV. I sat in silence, hands trembling, mind racing with a single question. What now? My diary noted 134M is mine. I can't trust them. Researching online, I found articles advising secrecy and professional guidance, leading me to Carol Whitman, a financial advisor with 20 years of experience, her sleek downtown Cincinnati office, a beacon of trust in a world where my family's $250,000 neglect had taught me to guard my heart. My diary noting $0 for Carol's meeting. I need her wisdom. The meeting with Carol was a turning point, her office scented with peppermint tea, soft jazz playing in the background, her firm handshake and sharp brown eyes exuding confidence as she listened to my story, the $2 ticket, the $134 million win, the $250,000 betrayal, the $30,000 debt that had shaped my struggle. This isn't magic, she said, her voice calm but authoritative, but an opportunity we'll secure. Over 3 hours, she crafted a plan claim the prize through a limited liability company, LLC, to protect my anonymity, hire a tax attorney and investment specialist, and manage the $85 million after taxes. My diary noting $85 million in the bank. LLC, named Bright Horizon. I'm safe. Carol's team worked seamlessly, submitting paperwork, securing the funds, and transferring the first check to an account under the LLC. My diary noting $85 million secured, $30,000 debt gone. I'm free. I took small, deliberate steps, wary of the $134 million transformative power. My diary noting 134S is a tool, not a crown. I paid off my $30,000 student loans in a single transaction, the weight of monthly $200 payments lifting like a fog, my diary noting $30,000 cleared. No more debt. I settled $5,000 in credit card balances, the relief palpable, my diary noting $5K paid. I'm unburdened. I left the $600 studio, its leaky pipes and noisy neighbors a memory, and bought a $300,000 or two-story farmhouse in Edgewood, its maple-lined driveway, open kitchen with granite island, and tall windows a haven of peace, my diary noting $300K house, my sanctuary. I purchased a $50,000 pearl white Tesla, registered under the LLC with a plate reading LH25 for Lily Harper and my age, a quiet nod to my identity, my diary noting $50K car, sleek and mine. I kept my $35,000 marketing job for a few weeks, needing the stability of routine to anchor me amid the $134 million shift, my diary noting $35K job, grounding me. I quit the bakery, leaving a $5,000 check for their cake display, a gesture of gratitude for the nights I'd scrubbed counters, my diary noting $5K gift, farewell to 10-hour. My new life was understated, no mansions, no flashy purchases, a deliberate choice to avoid the spotlight. My diary noting $85, but I'm still me. I began writing children's stories, a dream once dismissed as impractical, investing $10,000 in a small Chicago press to publish them, my diary noting $10K for stories, my heart's work. The $2 ticket, now framed beside my desk, was no longer a symbol of their $250,000 neglect, but a reminder of my $134 million triumph. My diary noting $2 to 134L. I'm worth everything. Each morning, I brewed coffee in my sunlit kitchen, the sparrows chirping in the backyard, my diary noting $20 for coffee beans, $0 for peace. I read novels, took watercolor classes, and lived without the $600 rent stress or $30,000 debt anxiety. My diary noting $200 for classes, $0 for fear. My family's absence was a relief, their group chat dormant since my departure. No more photos of Ethan's $100,000 home or $50,000 car. My diary noting $250K for him, $134M for me. I don't need their noise. I stayed off social media, my LLC protecting my $85 million anonymity, but rumors loomed, my diary noting $50K Tesla, $300K house. They'll find me. Cincinnati's autumn dawn was bright. The city's hum a backdrop to my new life. My resolve, a quiet fire. Their $250,000 betrayal, a wound transformed into strength. A vow to protect my $134 million peace. Unaware that their greed would soon resurface. Testing the boundaries I'd fought to establish. A challenge I was ready to meet as Lily Harper, no longer their shadow, but a woman of unshakable worth. The $134 million lottery win, born from a $2,000 ticket that mocked my family's $250,000 favoritism toward my brother Ethan, was a transformative triumph, but their greed re-emerged when rumors of my wealth reached them, leading to a confrontation that exposed their true motives and solidified my independence. In my Edgewood farmhouse, a serene two-story haven in the quiet suburbs of Cincinnati, Ohio, the autumn evening was tranquil, the sunlight filtering through tall, arched windows, casting a warm, golden glow across the polished hardwood floors, illuminating the open kitchen with its granite island, the vibrant lavender pots on the sill, and the framed $2 ticket beside my desk, a symbol of my victory over their neglect. The air was heavy with the soothing scent of chamomile tea and the tension of an impending storm, A sense that the $85 million I'd secured after taxes was no longer a secret. That the family who'd valued me at $2 while pouring $250,000 into Ethan was circling back with new demands. My diary lay open on the kitchen counter, its pages a raw testament to my journey, the $30,000 student loan struggle, the $134 million win, the Tesla sighting that sparked their interest, urging me to guard my peace against their inevitable greed. The memory of their $250,000 gifts to Ethan, $100,000 for his home, $100,000 for his tuition, $50,000 for his car, and their $2 ticket to me burned like a fresh wound. But my refusal to bow to their entitlement affirmed my worth, a defining moment that closed the door on their greed and opened a new chapter of self-determined freedom, setting the stage for a life lived on my own terms, a life where I was Lily Harper, not their overlooked daughter, but a woman who'd claimed her place with unyielding resolve. The rumors began with a neighbor's photo of my $50,000 pearl white Tesla, parked beside a mailbox labeled L. Harper in the Edgewood Community Group, captioned, "Who's our rich new neighbor? Free coffee for guesses." The post, meant as a playful jest, pierced the anonymity I'd guarded with my LLC, my diary noting 50K car, 300K house. "They're coming." Chloe, a college friend, texted Lily, a house in Edgewood spill followed by 3 missed calls from Mom, her number flashing on my screen like a warning, my diary noting 134 a.m. secrets out. "They sense money. My cousin Lucas messaged your mom thinks you're loaded. They're asking questions." My heart sank. Their $250,000 are neglect, $100,000 for Ethan's suburban home with its manicured lawn, $100,000 for his business degree, $50,000 for his Ford, making their sudden interest a clear sign of greed. My diary noting $250K for him, $2 for me. They want my $85. The confirmation came one morning as I watered the lavender along my fence, the autumn air crisp, the maples blazing red, when a familiar black SUV slowed past my gate, Ethan behind the wheel, Mom in the passenger seat, her curled hair and curious eyes scanning my $300,000 farmhouse, her gaze predatory. My diary noting $250K wasn't enough. "They're hunting." I ducked behind a maple, heart racing, as Ethan said something to Mom, their words lost but their intent clear. My diary noting 134M draws them. "I'm not their bank." Mom's texts followed, a calculated progression, gentle. "Sweetheart, I miss you. Casual stew this Sunday. Join us. Sugary family is forever. Lily," each unanswered. My diary noting 250K betrayal. $2 ticket. No reply. I didn't block them, wanting to see how far their greed would stretch. My diary noting $85 is mine. Let's see their play. Ethan's call came 2 weeks later, his voice overly cheerful. "Lily, Mom's upset you're avoiding us." "She cried last night." He paused, then shifted. "Haley and I are getting married this spring. Come for dinner Sunday, the whole family's there." I agreed, not out of nostalgia, but to face their motives. My diary noting 134 years is my shield. I'll see their truths. Driving to their Cincinnati home, the white picket fence and porch swing unchanged, I felt no warmth, only resolve, my $300,000 farmhouse a far cry from their $100,000 gift to Ethan. My diary noting 250K for him, 134 a.m. for me. I'm ready. Mom's hug was tight, performative, her "you're so skinny" a deflection, Dad's nod distant, Ethan's back pat overly familiar, the dinner a scripted performance talk of Haley's dress, a $100,000 house expansion for their future kids. My diary noting 250K wasn't enough. They're after my $85. As dessert arrived, Mom tapped her glass, her voice dripping with sweetness. Ethan's wedding and house expansion need $100,000. Since you're doing well, Lily, we thought you could help. Dad nodded, as if it were settled. Ethan's smile expectant. Their $250,000 favoritism, $100,000 a home, $100,000 tuition, $50,000 car echoed in their audacity. My diary noting $100K now, they're shameless. I set my glass down, my voice steady, years of pain rising. Where was family when I worked 2 jobs, lived on noodles, paid $30,000 in loans? You gave Ethan $250,000 house, car, tuition, and me a $2 ticket, said work harder. I did, but not for you. Silence fell, their faces frozen. Mom's eyes darting, Dad's jaw tight, Ethan's smile gone. My diary noting 134M is my power. I spoke truth. I stood, purse in hand, my gaze unflinching. I hoped you'd see me, but I don't need you anymore. If Ethan wants a $100,000 garage, no one's stopping him from working harder. I walked out, the door closing on their greed, my diary noting 250K betrayal ends. I'm free. The drive home was silent, no music, just the hum of my $50,000 Tesla's tires, the glow of their $100,000 home fading in the rear view, my diary noting 85 hours, 300K house. I left their world. I sank onto my couch, heels off, exhaling a sadness not for loss but for closure. My diary noting 134 NNs didn't heal me. I did. Their texts followed Mom's, "You hurt me," Ethan's, "You're a stranger but I locked them away." My diary noting 250K for him, $2 for me. I'm done with their guilt. Cincinnati's autumn night was cool. The stars a silent witness, my resolve a quiet fire. Their $250,000 betrayal a wound transformed into strength. A vow to protect my $134 million piece. A life where I was Lily Harper, not their overlooked daughter, but a woman who'd claimed her worth, ready to face whatever came next with the unyielding power of truth. The $134 million lottery win, sparked by a $2 ticket that mocked my family's $250,000 favoritism toward my brother Ethan, was a transformative triumph, freeing me from their greed and allowing me to build a life of purpose, peace, and unshakable self-worth, a life where I no longer sought their validation. In my Edgewood farmhouse, a serene 2-story haven in the quiet suburbs of Cincinnati, Ohio, the autumn morning was radiant, the sunlight pouring through tall, arched windows, casting a golden glow across the polished hardwood floors, illuminating the open kitchen with its granite island, the vibrant lavender pots blooming on the sill, and the tall bookshelves filled with novels and my own published children's stories, a testament to the life I'd crafted from the ashes of their neglect. The air was fragrant with the soothing scent of chamomile tea, brewed in a sleek machine that hummed softly, a daily ritual that grounded me in the calm of my $85 million fortune after taxes, a fortune that stood in defiant contrast to the $250,000 they'd lavished on Ethan while dismissing me with a $2 jest. My diary lay open on the kitchen counter, its pages a powerful record of my journey through betrayal, triumph, and liberation, the $30,000 student loan struggle, the $134 million win, the confrontation where I rejected their $100,000 demand, a chronicle urging me to live fully, unbound by the family that had valued me so little, a family whose greed had been exposed in that final dinner. The memory of their $250,000 gifts to Ethan, $100,000 for his home, $100,000 for his tuition, $50,000 for his car, and their $2 ticket to me lingered like a distant echo. But my new life of writing, investing, and exploring was a blazing affirmation of my worth, a victory that needed no validation from them, a truth that let their entitlement fade into irrelevance, affirming my right to live as Lily Harper, a woman who rose above their neglect with a $134 million legacy of her own making, a legacy built on resilience and self-belief. The confrontation at their Cincinnati home had been a defining moment, A clear line drawn when I refused their audacious $100,000 demand for Ethan's wedding and house expansion, a demand that echoed their $250,000 favoritism. $100,000 for his pristine suburban home with its wraparound porch, $100,000 for his business degree, $50,000 for his gleaming Ford, while I'd been left to struggle with $30,000 in loans, scraping by on a $45,000 income from 2 jobs. Their $2 ticket, a cruel dismissal of my worth. My diary noting $100K demand, $250K betrayal. I said no. My words, where was family when I worked 2 jobs, paid $30,000 in loans, I worked harder, but not for you, had silenced them, their faces frozen in the dim light of their dining room. Mom's eyes darting nervously. Dad's jaw clenched. Ethan's expectant smile extinguished. My diary noting 134 a.m. gave me power. I spoke truth. Walking out, the door closing behind me, I left their $250,000 world, their $100,000 greed. My diary noting 85M is mine. I owe them nothing. Their follow-up texts, Mom's plaintive, "You hurt me." Lily, Ethan's accusatory, "You're a stranger," went unanswered, locked in a drawer with the family photo they'd sent. A note reading, "Home is home," my diary noting $250K for him, $2 for me. I'm done with their guilt. I moved forward, shedding the $35,000 marketing job 3 months after the win, leaving a box of cinnamon waffles and a $50 bouquet of lavender for my colleagues, claiming a freelance opportunity to deflect questions about my $85 million fortune, my diary noting $35K, job gone, $0 for questions. I'm free. My $300,000 Edgewood farmhouse became a sanctuary, its maple-lined driveway, open kitchen with granite island, and tall windows a canvas for my new life. My diary noting $300K for peace, my true home. I bought a $50,000 pearl white Tesla, its personalized plate LH25 a quiet nod to my initials and age, registered under my LLC to shield my identity. My diary noting $50K car, my quiet triumph. I wrote children's stories, a dream once dismissed as impractical, investing $10,000 in a small Chicago press to publish them. My diary noting $10K for stories, my heart's joy. I traveled $5,000 for Santa Barbara's beaches, $3,000 for Oregon's ancient oaks, $2,000 for Savannah's fireworks, each trip a celebration of the freedom my $134 million afforded, my diary noting $10K for travel, $0 for fear. Carol, my financial advisor, guided $50 million into tech startups and real estate, securing my future. My diary noting $50 million invested, $85 million safe. A $200,000 Vermont cabin became my retreat, its pine-scented solitude a haven for writing, my diary noting $200K for calm, my soul's refuge. My family's silence was a relief, their group chat dormant since the confrontation. No more photos of Ethan's $100,000 home renovations or $50,000 car upgrades. My diary noting $250K for him, 134 NM for me. I don't need their noise. I stayed off social media, my LLC protecting my $85 million anonymity, but a Columbus art exhibit, where my illustrated children's story Little Moon was displayed, brought unexpected validation. A young girl approached, eyes bright. "Are you the one who wrote Little Moon? You're a great writer." Her words, unprompted and pure, warmed my heart in a way their $250,000 neglect never could. My diary noting $0 for her praise, 134 M for my truth. I sat in a cafe afterward, jotting ideas in a $20 leather notebook, my $300,000 farmhouse waiting, my diary noting 85 hours didn't make me. I did. A chance encounter with Ethan at a downtown bakery, his gray plaid shirt and weary eyes a shadow of his former confidence, tested my resolve. "Didn't expect to see you," he said, mentioning Haley's second pregnancy, Mom's obsession with me. his tone shifting to bitterness. Life's unfair. Isn't it? I met his gaze, calm and unflinching. It is, but I made it fair for myself. His silence spoke volumes. His $100,000 home and $50,000 car, no match for my $134 million piece. My diary noting $250K couldn't break me. I'm free. I wished him well, walking away without looking back. My diary noting $0 for his words. 134M for my life. Cincinnati's autumn dawn was bright, the city's hum a backdrop to my new life. My resolve a quiet fire, their $250,000 betrayal a wound transformed into strength, a life of 134 million freedom, a triumph that affirmed my worth as Lily Harper, not their overlooked daughter, but a woman who rose above with a legacy of her own making, a legacy of resilience, purpose, and unshakable self-belief.